Most riders secure in their position. They're racing for pride. Here's the gate drop.
Whoa, couple of riders almost go. Well,
couple riders down and a couple riders tangled. And it's going to be Cooper Webb to the early lead with Craig right behind him. It is Freddie Noren down. And it's 101 career starts for Noren. That's not the way he wanted it to go. So, oh, look at this. Craig taking the lead from Webb.
Webb's going to try to get back to...
Ferrandis was in it.
Down.
Ferrandis was in that pile.
Wow. He's looking down at the right side of his bike, which is where the right foot peg and the rear brake could be. Possibly the rear brake is pretty exposed. Let's see if he has problems getting the Yamaha slowed down at all.
That 117 that he just got around, who's also in that pile, that's Nick Nisbet, who I met last week, actually is a real estate agent during the week. Decided to come out and do a couple races and made the show today, qualified for the Fast 40. As we go back to our leaders, Webb. How about Christian Craig, not only taking the lead, but pulling away quickly.
Great start for him, and the thing about this second moto, see how it's dark, where the dirt is dark? Well, that's where they put some water down, okay, if you're new to motocross. And where the dirt is really light is where it's dry. Okay, so right now, those spots that are wet are going to be really slippery because this ground is hard. As the moto wears on, those lines
Ken Roxon is in the mechanics area and appears to be done. He's taking off his boot. That's often a sign, obviously, of an ankle or leg problem. That's not good.
And, I mean, all this could have happened there right off the start.
Maybe. Holding his foot. Oh, wow. So Roxon second in Moto 1. He appears out for Moto number 2. He's in pain.
He definitely is in pain.
And your first Moto winner, Ferrandis, we saw it about last after getting tangled in turn 1. And his teammate Christian Craig leads.
Yeah, and so, Jason, this opens the door for somebody to grab an overall now.
Well, the rider in that position would be Cooper Webb right now, who is third in Moto 1. He is second in Moto 2. Where is Eli Tomac, who was fourth in the first moto? We're going to get a running order once we come through the line here.
Craig goes by as we start to set the
There's
field.
Tomac, fourth place behind Anstey. So Tomac here at the Monster Kawasaki, his last run with this team that he's been with since 2016. And in that time, not only 3 straight titles in this series and a Monster Energy Supercross championship, but 62 race wins in 6 years with Kawasaki, and he's got a shot at capping it with another win here. He could get the overall today.
Well, we still have a lot of racing left to go here in Moto 2 at Hangtown, but really we're talking about Craig and Webb and Tomac are the riders really that have a shot to win this. Now, we don't know how far through the pack Ferrandis, who was our Moto 1 winner, how far he can claw his way up to maybe put himself in the conversation for the overall.
He's 23rd right now.
Seems doubtful. A lot of work to do for Ferrandis. But right now, I mean, if you're Eli Tomac right there at the bottom of your screen, the number 3 on that Monster Energy Kawasaki, you're going to try to cap off your career with Monster Energy Kawasaki with one more win, which would make it 3 in a row after not winning all season.
Unbelievable. And there is Roxon being helped by the Alpine Stars medics team. There's Dr. John Bonder there, and also his mechanic, Jordan Troxel. So season over for Roxon. And there's his wife, Courtney, on the right. Now, Roxon did mention when he finished second in Moto 1 that his goal is to hold on to second of the series over Tomac. So suddenly now he's not going to score any points in this moto. Tomac is back in fourth. And there was only 9 points between them when this race day began. So I think this could be second in the series for Tomac if it ends like this. Roxon added a few more points to his gap on Tomac Moto 1. Tomac was fourth there. Tomac on the attack. Starting to catch Max Anstey, who's here on the yellow Twisted T HEP Suzuki.
And Anstey had a good run the first moto, was inside the top 10.
The Englishman has been back in the U.S. here for the last 2 years. We have seen his starts really come around the last couple of motos. And now he gets to run with Tomac. With Webb in second. How about Christian Craig going to lead the first lap here?
Anstey gets a little sideways there through those braking bumps. It looked like he was trying to put the Suzuki into the inside line, and then he just fades a little bit out. That's going to allow Tomac to be right on his rear tire.
Webb picking up the pace, putting heat on Craig. Let's send it down to the mechanics area with Ashley Ramore on Ken Roxon.
Ken Roxon was notably in pain, so I went up to Eric Kehoe after Alpine Star's medical team got him out of the mechanics area to head back for some x-rays. His left foot actually got caught in someone's rear tire in that first turn. He didn't go down, but the pounding of it made it feel like it was possibly broken, and he knew instantly that something was wrong. So unfortunately, he didn't go down in that first turn crash, but he did get an injury. He's back at the Alpine Star's medical unit now.
And thanks, Ashley. Another rider, Cody Schock, got tangled up in that, and we just watched a replay. It looked like Schock was holding his right arm. So very costly first turn crash for several riders. Always something on the line in motocross. So Webb looking to track down your leader, Christian Craig, with Tomac up to third. He's gotten around Anstey. Let's give you the motorsport.com full shot replay.
Well, it gets really dicey. You're going to see Roxon's going to be right around in that area. Try to look for the red Honda right there. And even though Roxon doesn't go down, Schock gets into the side of him right there. Like smashes it, and it looks like Roxon's left foot gets caught in Schock's rear wheel.
Yeah.
Like it looks like it drags a little bit.
We're looking
right
for
there.
Ferrandis.
So much. I mean, for being the last race of the season, it's the last thing any of these guys.
That is Ferrandis actually caught, and I believe Roxon's bike, or is that Schock's bike? No, Roxon was
Schock,
in.
yeah,
It was Schock's
it was
Honda. So that's why Ferrandis so far back.
Just so much drama in the last race of the season. These
Unbelievable.
guys are going for it. They looked at the keys of the Moto, said, okay, Jeff, we'll do what you asked for. But that much drama, and we hadn't even made it to the motorsport.com whole shot line yet, and we had a rider with an injured foot and about 5 or 6 guys down.
Yeah, and I think that's it for Schock as well. So his bike was being dragged by Ferrandis. Cody quickly got up and was holding his arm. Back to the race for the lead. Webb continuing to close down on Craig, who already passed him for the lead earlier in the moto. So a little rematch here. And then with Tomac lurking in third, you have the feeling things are going to heat up. Craig, a look over his shoulder. He's never won a moto in Lucas Oil Pro Motocross. And there's Tomac, who had gotten to about this position third in Moto 1 and then fell. Christian Craig, best moto of the year for him. He has been just outside of the podium positions for the majority of this 2021 campaign. Looking very strong early, 5th in Moto 1 and leading the way in Moto 2 at Hangtown. So let's see if Craig can deal with the heat from Webb. As a matter of fact, he has. Webb got a little bit closer than this. Craig has responded.
Yeah, out front, riding a clean race, and Craig has such a nice riding technique and riding style. He's very efficient. With it being super hot right now and the track getting rough, that definitely is important. But then you've got Webb on the other side, who's just, he's so gritty, and you can tell he wants it. He's riding hard, trying to catch the leader here. He also has some incentive because you've got Tomac and Anstey, which are just outside of our picture, and this could be the difference in winning the overall or not. Webb was third, Tomac was fourth in Moto 1, and Craig was fifth.
Yeah, if it ended like this, Webb would have the overall. Man, that would be a strong end to the season for him. Back-to-back podiums and a race win, but he'll have to deal with Craig and Tomac here.
Considering where Webb was at the beginning of this championship.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he started Lucas Oil Pro Motocross really way off the pace, and you got to think that having so much stress and such a tight battle for the Monster Energy Supercross Championship here on NBC that it took a lot out of him. But he could not find his groove.
He found it now. He's right there with Craig.
Definitely back on it. And the intensity's there because he's got Tomac right behind him.
Whoa, slicing from outside to inside. Webb almost made the pass. Okay, he is setting up Craig in every single corner now. Back into turn one we go. Craig, intense pressure being applied by Webb. Craig looks over. They didn't want to tangle in the air. If Craig goes outside, Webb's going inside. Here's the move. He's got the lead.
And then wisely back to the inside. And watch this off camber down here. They're going way up against the bank there. Our Parts Unlimited drone shot really gives you an idea of what these hills look like, but look who is lurking.
Eli Tomac, as quickly as Webb was going after Craig, Tomac is there as well. Three-rider tilt for the lead. Tomac wants to go all the way to the front. Battles all over the racetrack here. This is Eli Tomac on the right side in green, trying to take it away from Christian Craig. It's now a battle for second as Cooper Webb has taken the #1 spot. Craig fighting back on Tomac.
And he's going to have the inside, and this inside line's been good. Craig makes a tiny mistake. Can Tomac power down the inside? Oh, look how rough that line is. Makes the pass. Tomac up to second.
He knew he needed to do it because Webb had turned up the heat and got around Craig. He doesn't want Webb to get away, so Tomac went after Craig quickly, and Tomac's to second. Here is how Webb passed Craig.
Lance totally committed, Jason. He knew exactly what he wanted to do. He takes the short line here and boxes out Craig, and Craig says, okay, I just gave up the lead. He looks over his shoulder and finds Tomac there and has given up the spot to Tomac also. So -2 for Craig here in about the span of a half a lap. Not what he's looking for, but it's still going to put him in a nice podium position, possibly.
Let's check in with Ferrandis, our first Moto winner and our new series champ, down in the first turn. And he is already in 8th place. Amazing comeback. He's gotten around Wageman here on the solitary Yamaha.
Well, and that's why I said for Craig, possibly a podium, because the way that Ferrandis has been riding and the speed that he's capable of, 8th already. We're not even to the 15-minute mark yet, so there's a chance that he can claw his way back up and put himself in a podium result still before this moto is over and the day's done.
Back to the battle for the lead. You can see Craig is there in 3rd as Tomac is closing on Webb. So it's going to be down to Webb and Tomac to battle for the moto win in the overall in the last race of the series.
Well, and we can't ignore the fact that this is Eli Tomac's last ride with Monster Energy Kawasaki. I mean, the statistics and the success that he's had together with the team and his mechanic, Brian Krantz, has been legendary. And now he's trying to put on one last legendary ride to possibly win the overall here in his last ride with Kawasaki.
And that will be 3 straight wins to end the year. 63 wins with Kawasaki in 6 seasons. We'll be moving to Monster Energy Star Yamaha next year. A little change of scenery for Tomac, who's now become a veteran on the scene. We'll see how that transition goes. But right now, he has found his old form late in 2021. But credit to Webb. A couple times Tomac has gotten to him, and Webb is holding his own. And in fact, Craig is back in it.
Well, and you just wonder if maybe that pressure of having the lead. Oh, Tomac feed off. That's the same spot that he made the pass a lap ago. This time he comes through on his own and almost goes down. He's giving it everything he has right now. He knows what's on the line. He's so driven and so determined. But can he catch Cooper Webb and take this final win?
Oh, it'll be Webb's first win of the season, and he struggled mightily when this championship began. He would love to turn it around by ending the season on top. Webb not quite as quick as Tomac through that section, so Tomac reeling him back in. Craig still riding well in 3rd, and Anstey not too far back in 4th. Nice little tussle here in this final moto.
Yeah, we're not even to the halfway point yet, and it's really started to tighten up here at the lead. I don't look for Webb to give up any positions easy. I think he's gonna fight and claw and scratch his way, anything he can do to win this moto, which is going to be great for us watching and see how this thing finishes off. I am really surprised, Jason, that it looked like Craig had a bad lap or two, and I thought he was going to be done. And now he's found a way to hook onto the back of Tomac and hang in this battle and make it a 3-rider battle.
Absolutely, and if either one of these riders makes a mistake, Craig could still win this moto.
Oh, look at that. It's so dry and so tight. It's like old school motocross almost, that the riders back on the twin shocker 2-strokes would have on this same course decades ago raced on.
Yeah, when it got dry and dusty like this, hard square bumps. Riders having to show their adaptability here. NASCAR Cup Series, we are into the playoffs. And one of the most iconic races of all, the Bristol Night Race, the first elimination race in the playoffs. Which 4 drivers will fall at the last great Coliseum? Saturday night, 7:30 Eastern on NBCSN. Big battle on the track right now between 2 titans of motocross and supercross. Cooper Webb in the number 2, leading the way. Eli Tomac in the number 3, right behind him. We're halfway through this moto. 15 minutes down, 15 minutes to go. You could save 15% or more on your insurance, but by making a 15-minute phone call to Geico. Eli Tomac is right there now. He's gotten to the rear wheel of Webb a few times. Webb has been able to fend him off. Can he still get it done?
Webb has got spots on the track where he's better. Tomac has his lines, but Tomac has the advantage of getting to see what's happening with Webb. And look at that, emerging lines. Look for new lines on the track. Tomac has done that, and at any point, it seems like he can close up on the back of Webb. But can he make the pass, or is Webb going to be stingy with that fast line and race him hard all the way to the finish? We've got about 14 minutes plus 2 laps. This is for the overall.
Oh, you love to see in the finale with the title wrapped up. 2 motivated riders. Webb made some major changes to his training program this summer. He is trying to prove those are the right decisions and pay it off with a race win. Tomac, he wants to end this series with 3 straight victories, going on top after a long run with Kawasaki. So these guys want it in the worst way, and you can see it right now. They're pouring it on, pulling away from the rest of the field.
Oh, I thought that inside line was going to work for Tomac. I wonder if these off-camber turns right here, I mean, look how tricky they are. Okay, that's what I wanted to see, the Parts Unlimited drone. Let me see where these lines are shaping up. Webb just so smart riding the insides. He says, Eli, if you want to go by, you're going to have to take the long line because I'm stingy, and there's no way I'm giving up these inside lines.
Oh, this is what Webb is known for, and that was his strength in Monster Energy Supercross. He can knife so deep to the inside of corners and the racecraft.
Okay, Webb takes the outside here. Tomac has to hit the braking bumps on the inside, but it's a shorter line.
Oh, side by side. A little bit of a kink here. Tomac's on the inside for it. The next corner, Webb set up for the inside, and he stays to the left to protect.
And look at the fans here at Hangtown. They're waving the towels and the hats.
Tomac's bringing this downhill.
Amazing race.
They know the pass could be coming, and there it is. That's where he passed Craig for second, and Tomac just bonsai'd it on that drop away.
He has that downhill figured out. Looks ahead. Tomac does. He's going to see a couple of lapped riders. There was actually a rider down right there. I was wondering if he was specifically looking at something on that downhill. He's got a couple of laps. Oh, Webb messes up his line in that turn. Is going to lose a couple of bike lengths. Webb has got to put the pressure on. He's got to find a way to respond and not let Tomac get comfortable.
Well, also, Craig is still not too far back in third, so Webb has to stay hard on the gas and also keep a little pressure on. Tomac grabs a tear off, and that allows Webb to close back in, so it's not over yet. Look at this battle. So Tomac went around the outside, grabbed the tear off, was slow in the corner, and Webb pulled right back to his rear tire. So it is not over. He took your advice. Have to keep the heat on.
He does. I mean, this is what it's all about, trying to win these races, get the overall. And Webb has the potential. He's a gamer. I mean, he just has to stay in it here and start to believe that he can win this moto. Possibly follow some of Tomac's lines. See where Tomac has been able to carry some momentum and then dig deep. Let it all hang out. Like I said, this is it. Sprint forward. You've got 11 minutes plus 2 laps. Then it's time for vacation. So leave it all out there, just like our 2 leaders are doing.
All right, we'll take a commercial break here and resume this battle with Eli Tomac trying to end the season with 3 straight wins. And Tomac getting away from Webb now. And by the way, Dylan Ferrandis has moved up to 5th place. So you have these 2, and then Craig, Anstey 4th, and then Ferrandis from, I'm going to say, 36th, 35th-ish place. 40 riders in the moto. A couple were down in the first turn.
Well, I mean, even at that, these points could get really, really tight if Ferrandis is up to 5th. Tomac was 4th the first moto, so a 4-1 would give him the overall right now. Webb was 3rd. If Ferrandis makes up any more points, could he still win the overall?
He could. Well, a 1-4 and a 4-1, Tomac would still have it. But if he could make it all the way to 3rd and get Craig, he would win the overall still. Tomac would be looking at 4-1, and Ferrandis would be looking at a 1-3, and there is plenty of time. 9.5 minutes and 2 laps left. Oh, nice little wheel tap there from Tomac through those rollers.
Problem is for Ferrandis, he's got a good 14 seconds at least to make up, to even catch Max Anstey in 4th, and to get up to Craig, who's in 3rd. Yeah, that's a pretty big gap at this point. That's a lot to ask, but he's your champ. He's the most fit guy out there. Everything this season has gone his way. What a way to end the season for Dylan Ferrandis if he could pull that off after how this first lap went for him.
And there's the longtime mechanic for Tomac, Brian Kranz, with the pit board out, giving him the idea of the split times. His time versus Webb's, and he is now starting to move out. 2.3 seconds the gap between Tomac and Webb. So Tomac with a lot of lap traffic to deal with now. That could be the final obstacle in his way, and or the brief opportunity Ferrandis could get all the way up to 3rd, could steal the overall away. This part's a limited drone cam, giving you a good idea of the line selection of Tomac with the lead. Look at this. Eli Tomac and his mechanic Brian Kranz have been together for 11 seasons, which you never see a rider-mechanic combo last this long under the high stakes at this level. And they've won 83 victories. Unofficially, we believe that's second all-time rider-mechanic combo. Ricky Carmichael and his original mechanic, Chad Watts, we counted 90 wins for them. But 11 seasons. Even the great rider-mechanic combos through time, it's usually 5-6 years. Before the rider moves to a different team, or the mechanic says, I got to get off the road. This is a lot of work. Kranz actually followed Eli from his first pro team, which was Geico Honda, over to Monster Kawasaki. He will stay at Kawasaki next year. Tomac is moving to Yamaha. So this is their last run together, and what a way to go out. They're looking at another race win.
Well, legendary rider, legendary mechanic, and a legendary combination and effort combined with all the other team members with Monster Energy Kawasaki, and don't forget, this goes back to the Factory Connection days, their partnership, so we got to add them in, and Ziggy and all the boys at that team who were a part of Eli Tomac's early career. What a way to go out. I mean, certainly Tomac's doing everything he can do right now, is trying to win this moto, end on definitely a high note. The question is, can Dylan Ferrandis work his way into 3rd and come back and win the overall still?
We're hearing they've checked out Ken Roxon's foot, by the way. Remember, he got hurt in the first turn of this, and they believe it is not broken, but obviously he is out of this moto. So Tomac's relationship with Kawasaki is going to end, but this is pretty cool. I talked to Bruce Sternstrom, who's the head of racing over there, and he showed me something yesterday. Eli's not watching the broadcast right now, so I'm not giving away any secrets that he's not supposed to know about. They have a big plaque that they're going to present to him at the end of the day to coronate an excellent 6 seasons together where they've won more races, Tomac-Kawe combo, than any other rider in that time. So even though they're moving on from each other, there's still a lot of respect and class to the great performances they did put on when they were working together. So they're going to have a little presentation over there at the Kawasaki pit for Tomac when this moto is over. And the coolest thing about it, it's a big plaque that has championships across the top. They won 4 of them together. And all the race wins, they left room to tag one more race win on that plaque. And it is looking good now.
Well, when you have that many of them, you have to be optimistic.
That's right.
Right, and he's won the last 2 overalls in a row.
So we go to Ferrandis here, who was just about last early. He has climbed all the way to 5th. So from outside the top 35 or so to 5th place. Lowest position 23rd, but that's at the end of the first lap. And with Roxon out, by the way, Tomac is going to take over second of the points. We speculated about that at the beginning of this moto. Roxon, first or second all year long until the final moto of the year. He's not going to finish this one, Roxon. And with the win, Tomac should take over second in the points. We go back to Ferrandis, insurmountable lead. He already is your series champ.
Well, Jason, as I'm looking at timing and scoring right here, you're seeing Ferrandis. He's got the fastest single lap of anyone at a 2:17. Just turned to 2:18, which is he's the fastest rider on the track right now. What he needs to still win this overall is to pass his teammate, Christian Craig, who's in third. You've got Max Anstey in fourth. He's about 10 seconds off of that. But last time around, he was 3 or 4 seconds faster than Craig. It's possible. There's going to be about, what, 4 laps left to go?
Wow.
Somewhere around in there. I mean, it could be pretty close here.
Ferrandis has an outside shot at pulling off the overall win and stealing it from Tomac. It's been an amazing season for the 14. We had a chance to talk to Ferrandis about his season. Looking back at it now.
It was really a dreaming season, but honestly, all year I tried to stay away from all the stats and all the numbers and stuff because, yeah, it's what I always dreamed to do, and all the riders that did that before me were like a legend, and I was such a big fan of them. So I don't really look at this because I don't want this to affect me emotionally. So I really try all season to stay focused on myself and just the riding and the race by race. But yeah, I mean, when people told me the stat and everything, it's just unreal. Like, yeah, it's awesome. But yeah, I don't know. I make it. I just make my way. I never really try to do better than anybody else that did before. I just stay myself and did what I have to do on race day. And yeah, at the end, I think at the end the championship it's what mattered the most. Whatever the point, whatever we did before, like championship is what every racer wants and what we work for. So that's the most important.
So. Remember, Ferrandis had some issues off of the start. You can see there's something hanging down on the right foot peg of his bike. We got a tight shot of this. Our excellent camera crew and director and everybody in the truck have zeroed in on this. It looks to be some of this foam that they put under, like in between the rear brake and the engine cases and the frame, and that keeps rocks and stuff from getting in there. So no problem for Ferrandis. He is catching Max Anstey, though, for fourth.
He needs 2 positions to dig out the overall win today. He has to get Anstey for fourth and catch Christian Craig for third. It's not over yet.
Where's Craig?
Craig, let's figure it out. He is about 5 seconds further up the road. It is not inconceivable. He's also got to make a pass on Anstey and get around this lap traffic. That might slow him up a little bit, but it is not over. And Ferrandis, we know, is so strong down the stretch, and he's got Anstey right in front of him now.
Pretty much 3 laps to go, right, Jason? And could still win this overall, which would be such an incredible accomplishment just for this moto right there. Just blows past Anstey on the outside. Now he's going to set his sights on his teammate, who's less than 5 seconds ahead, and he's got 2.5 laps to go.
Well, that is key. He did not get held up trying to get around Anstey. A couple more lap riders to deal with. So with that pass, Ferrandis and Tomac are now tied for the day. They'd each have a first and a fourth. Tomac wins the overall. Tiebreaker's better Moto 2. One more pass, Ferrandis has it.
Any chance they get team orders from the Monster Energy Yamaha team for Craig to back out of the way and let him by?
We often do see team orders maybe with a title on the line. We'll see if they would do it for an overall race win. He might not need the help because Ferrandis is absolutely hauling right now.
Hey, it was a few decades ago where the Team Yamaha, it was for the title.
Not for a race win.
San Antonio.
Yes, they did it.
Bob Hanna gets the signboard, let Brock by. It will live in infamy as Hanna let Brock Glover by in a 125 race. Brock goes on to win the title. So no championship implications at this point. But like you said, Hey, Ferrandis is fast enough to make this move. He's catching his teammate quickly.
Since 1927, the Ryder Cup has pitted America versus Europe. Can the U.S. team reclaim the trophy while on American turf? The Ryder Cup, September 24th through 26th on NBC, Golf, and Peacock. Go to RyderCup.com for news, highlights, and more. Final laps of the season of 450 motocross racing. We're in California, and there's still a lot to race for. Dylan Ferrandis on the 14. If he can make one pass at the end of this race, and he's got the 29 of Craig in sight. If he passes Craig, he takes the overall win for the day.
Just unbelievable. Countdown clock is at 0. Tomac is out front trying to go 4-1 for the overall. Ferrandis won your first moto. If he makes this pass on Christian Craig right there, the number 29, that could give Ferrandis a 1-3 and win the overall.
From nearly last at the beginning of this race, and he's trying to set up Craig, his teammate, for the pass. Craig fighting him off on the inside. Not for long. Ferrandis has done it. He's taken over third, and that would be enough for the win today.
Earlier in the day, we had some sound bites from Dylan Ferrandis talking about other legendary French riders, like he wasn't a part of it. No, he is.
Oh, it's hard to argue.
Is now in that conversation, and it's rides like this. I mean, he could have thrown the moto away. Okay, I have those problems off of the start, whatever, I'm going to mail it in or pull off. That's not who he is. He's a champion, and he's going out and showing that he could be a race winner once again. Just an incredible ride to cap off such a legendary season. Still got about a lap and a half to go. It's not over. He's got to keep it on two wheels, but wow, what a ride by Dylan Ferrandis.
Yeah, so a couple of riders down in turn one. He was tangled with the bike of Cody Schock. He's dragging Schock's bike, so he had to stop. By the time he got going, the top 35, 36 riders had already gone by.
Well, and the only reason he wasn't last is because Schock was down, and there were two or three others, four bikes down going into the first turn. So let's put him at 35th, let's say. 35th to 3rd?
Unreal. Maybe even second. There's still going to be another lap to go. You got to figure Webb in second is probably on cruise control right now. He's 6 seconds behind your leader. There's Tomac on the top of your screen, who looked to have this overall in hand. But he's only going to have a 4th and a 1st today, where Ferrandis will have a 1st and a 3rd. What a charge by Ferrandis. And really, even though the title is already decided, this type of ride defines his season. The guy just doesn't give up, and it doesn't appear like he ever gets tired. Late in the races, he just gets stronger. White flag out.
Yeah, and you know, as a rider, you know where their positions are at. He just went through the mechanics area. If you're new to motocross, the mechanics area is where you have your personal mechanic. He's got a signboard, chalkboard, whiteboard, and you write messages on there. A lot of times it's like words of encouragement, maybe lap times, but right now it would be position. And look right here, he's catching Cooper Webb. We're on the final lap. He's not that far behind the leader even.
He doesn't want this season to end.
I mean,
we're talking, run.
Okay,
yeah, I know.
Ferrandis is 9.2 seconds at the last interval behind the leader. When you fall down, usually if you get back up quickly, that's like 9 seconds. So even, I mean, if Tomac fell,
he would go from essentially
I just
last
can't believe that Ferrandis has caught up this much when Tomac and Webb were having such a great ride. The newly crowned champ has once again found a way to top it.
Legend status. He has joined some of the all-timers with rides like this. Dylan Ferrandis. There's the rider he'd have to catch, really just to make the ride even more epic. It's not going to affect the overall at this point. And I wonder if Ferrandis maybe now knows that he's where he needs to be, because he looks like he has taken some of the aggression off on this final lap, soaking it in, and he should have the overall victory for the weekend.
Wow. Going to be a lot of hugs and high fives when he crosses the finish line. Bobby Regan, the team owner, made the decision to partner with Yamaha and take over the 450 team from factory Yamaha, okay? And the results that they have produced this year for their riders, Aaron Plessinger, Christian Craig, and of course the champ, Dylan Ferrandis. Just outstanding work.
And the sacrifice that they all put in, we mentioned in Moto 1, his mechanic. The team all moved to Georgia and Florida. His mechanic had not seen his wife in 2 months as they tried to put this title run together from the East Coast. Meanwhile, this story, the long and very fruitful run with Eli Tomac and Monster Energy Kawasaki together is going to end in a Moto win. Second Moto at Hangtown goes to Tomac. But the overall is going to be ripped from his hands. He was only 4th in Moto 1 after a crash. Webb is going to come across the line in 2nd. And with 1-3 Moto scores, how can you not respect the grit, the heart, the effort? Dylan Ferrandis wins the finale.
Does he know it, though, Jason? Does he know it?
The crowd seems to know. This is a French rider who has always said he's starting to soak it in now. We've asked him time and time again.
Oh, look at that.
Fan asked for his goggles. Oh, okay.
What
Excellent.
a souvenir.
We've asked him time and time again. As a Frenchman, he never really got the fan response, and he always said, I race for myself. I don't really worry about those things, but he's got to enjoy being embraced the way he is now. The fans absolutely respect. How could you not? This kind of effort. He passed about 35 riders to get this overall win. Incredible. And there's his wife, Natasha. We'll be back to talk to Dylan, who has an epic Moto win.
Even though Eli Tomac did not get the overall, he finished his 2nd, but a great solid run in Moto number 2. Eli, does it feel surreal knowing that was your final ride on the green bike?
Absolutely, and I wanted to give everything I had, and we did that for Moto 2. I'm totally kicking myself for the mistake on the off-camera Moto 1. From that moto, you know, had a tweaked thumb and went back, and thankfully I was able to wrap it and get some support on it. Was able to hold on for Moto 2 there. So very cool for us to finish, you know, the way we did. Almost got the overall, so close. Dylan's been so strong this year, and yeah, like you said, last race for myself and Monster Energy Kawasaki. But you know, we finished on top. So thankful to have Kranz, you know, on my bike for the past 11 years. That's his last race with us too. So you know, this is so cool for us. Definitely emotional, and thank you guys for coming out.
A lot of great memories for Eli Tomac and Monster Energy Kawasaki. And also entertaining here in the final 3 rounds of the season. Cooper Webb, you're 3rd once again. Are you satisfied with this end of the season?
Yeah, that was probably my best moto yet, to be fair. I'm super stoked. Unfortunately, I didn't get started very good, but got to get up to my team and the group of people around me for pushing me and believing in me, and I knew what I can do on a dirt bike. So it was good to get better and be closer to the front. And today was my best result, even though it was a 3rd overall. I'm stoked. You know, it's a lot to get to the front, and we never gave up. So got to give it up to the good Lord. My wife, my mechanic Carlos and Austin, the whole Red Bull KTM team for, like I said, not giving up on me and giving me everything I asked for this season. I want to give it up to Thor, Bell, Alpine Star, 100%, Paradise Autos, and Specialized Bicycles. We'll be back next year, hopefully a little better results.
And Jason, he had no idea that he was the overall winner of the day while he was sitting back here behind the podium. Dylan, what continues to drive you to put in a ride like that after going down in the first turn and coming back for this overall win? Did you even surprise yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I just know that tonight it's holiday for me, so I was like, I'm gonna give everything I had, and this way I can go holiday with a clear mind, you know, and be happy about myself. So yeah, that's just what I thought. And first moto, I kind of saved a little bit of energy at the end, so I was really fresh for that moto. But yeah, the last lap I was just beat up. I couldn't push anymore. I really give everything I had, and yeah, I was surprised. I was thinking Ken was leading, so I was like P1 and P4. That doesn't make a first overall. And my mechanic, he pitboarded me last lap first overall. I was like, why? Like, he just wanted to make me happy because, you know, I'm gonna be unhappy about myself. So yeah, I was surprised, and yeah, it's awesome. Like, I can't believe crashing at the start and getting the overall is yeah. Really, so happy to finish the season on a high note, and that showed that, yeah, the Yamaha Star Racing bike is the best. My trainer is the best. The people around me, all the people that work for the team, and all the people that build the parts and everything, they are the best in the industry. So, yeah, thanks to all these people, Bell, 100%, Tor, Toyota Escondido, Alpine Star, Monster Energy, all the people that support me, my mechanic Alex. My wife Nastasia, for sure, she's every day for me, and my trainer GV, and yeah, too many names, like all the people in the Star Racing group, like Bobby Regan, Brad Hoffman, Jamie Coker, all these guys, they work so hard, and that's why I'm here today on this podium. Thank you.
Well, it's been a lot of fun to watch you this season. Congratulations, champ, on another overall.
The all-new Geomax MX34 is the latest result of Dunlop's ongoing development with the help